going on?
Thank you so much.
Feel like $1 million.
Shout out TMZ, you up?
Let me check out that rig.
TMZ stands for the Mayweather Zone.
How'd you find me, bro? I got my disguise on.
I love my TMZ family. Wow,
Welcome to TMZ Sports. Babcock here. Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua have come face-to-face for the first time since the huge fight was announced last week. Of course, we know that in less than a month now, on December 19th in Miami on Netflix, Jake Paul is going to fight the former two-time unified heavyweight champion, Anthony Joshua, Lucas. And there's been a lot said about this fight. A lot of people have pointed to the size difference, and I think, at least height-wise, that was very evident today when, again, they were face to chest, maybe is the more accurate way to say things.
We can say Jake Paul looks up to Anthony Joshua.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. This press conference, if people wanted trash talk and disrespect and bleeping each other out left and right, that wasn't the case. No, they had a lot of respect for each other. Wow. You know, Jake talked about how the process was that led to landing on Anthony Joshua as an opponent. Anthony spoke very highly of Jake, and you know, overall, it was very informative, but I wouldn't say it was fireworks like you would usually expect from a Jake Paul fight press conference.
Do you really, truly believe that you can go in there and beat this behemoth from British boxing?
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. 100%. Self-belief is the most powerful thing in the world. And it's been there since my first fight, my second fight. Wasn't supposed to be Nate Robinson, Ben Askren, Tyron Woodley, the UFC champion with hammers in his fists. Not supposed to beat Silva, the list could, Mike Perry, the king of violence. All easy work. I know this is much more challenging, but I know what I'm capable of in the gym, and I know that my team knows what I'm capable of and entrusting in them. And this is going to be fun. I want him to cut me up. I want him to break my face. But guess what? He's going to have to kill me to stop me. And I'm ready to die, seriously ready to die in the ring to win this fight.
Have the boxing fans you've been speaking to since this was announced been telling you that you need to knock this guy out?
Do you know what it is? I've seen it, I've heard it. But as I said to Jake, respectfully, I need to cut him up. And I need to break him up, and I need to hurt him, and that's just what we do. That's it. There's nothing more to it. Doesn't matter what anyone else tells me. What I feel in my heart is I need to do a job.
If you do pull this off, and respect to Josh, obviously he's a legend, is this the biggest upset in boxing history?
For sure. Neck and neck with Tyson and Buster. Right up there. Biggest stage. This will probably be the second most viewed fight in the history of boxing behind me and Tyson. And I'm going to go in there and win and shock the world.
I mean, so, Lucas, there it is. Jake says it. I don't think it'd be one of or it'd be right up there with Buster Douglas and Mike Tyson. I watched that fight as a little kid and just, I mean, it was just pure shock. But Buster Douglas was a legitimate heavyweight fighter who was a talented guy. Maybe there was some knocks on his work ethic and all that. But this is Jake Paul, who was a YouTuber years ago, and he's fighting Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua, before he was the two-time unified heavyweight champ, Lucas, he was an Olympic gold medalist as a heavyweight boxer. I mean, the guy's pedigree is as good as it could possibly ever be. I mean, it'd be the most shocking upset in the history of the sport, I think.
Absolutely. And the funny thing is, you know, they talk about how much respect they have for each other, but that doesn't mean they're not going to get into that boxing ring and try to knock each other's lights out. They are, I mean, Jake even said it in that clip. I am willing to die in the boxing ring to get this victory. And Anthony Joshua is saying the same thing. I'm going to cut him up. I'm going to do whatever. I'm going to beat his face in. And Jake, he is flashy, but he wasn't flashy with his words. He was flashy this time around with his chain that we had all the details on. Awesome. It was absolutely ridiculous. It had the .50 caliber on there, all the bullets with it, all the diamonds and everything. Yeah. Anthony Joshua even said, I want that. I want that chain. And Jake was like, well, let's put the chain on the line. Oh, did they put it on it? Yeah, but Joshua said no.
It's. I can only imagine how much this thing is worth. To Shannon, as a matter of fact, got all the details on this earlier today. So Vibara is the jeweler. This is the jeweler that this guy has worked with Jake. Remember when he fought Mike Tyson, he made that diamond ear cover, and he's done a lot of these really cool pieces. Well, that's this jeweler. And now I mean, 364 carats of diamonds with gold, with rose gold around the neck. You see, that's a 50 caliber, like that BMG, like the Barrett machine gun bullet there, the ammunition, the big one there. That's absolutely awesome. I can only imagine how much that thing costs. So, I mean, that thousands and thousands of dollars. Absolutely. I think the reason for the trash talk was that, or the lack of trash talk, Lucas, is that I think they know that this fight is awesome and it's appealing and they don't need to do any of that trash talk stuff. Anyone I think, and tell me if you disagree with me here, anyone who has suggested that Anthony Joshua is going to go in there and take it easy on Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua is a proud competitor who is a legend in this sport. He may be a Hall of Famer one day. If you think that he's going to go in there for some money and take a dive or take it easy on Jake, I think anyone who thinks that is badly misreading Anthony Joshua and the type of guy that he is.
Yeah, man. And two, if you're talking about an exhibition versus a pro fight, there's a big difference here. But I think in this press conference, they said exactly what they had to say. You're right. I agree with you. They didn't need to go after each other and make this all personal to try and get people to watch this thing. They know that everyone is going to watch this thing. And they both said the two things that everybody needs to hear from this. Anthony Joshua said, I'm going to try to hurt him. What's probably the biggest critique of this fight? People are going to think that Anthony Joshua is going to take it easy on him, kind of get him through this match, coast to a decision victory. Yeah. And, maybe it's not going to be the fireworks that everyone wants for all those people that want to see Jake Paul get absolutely knocked the hell out. And Jake Paul said the right thing too. He said, I'm ready to go in that ring and I'm going to die. I'm going to leave it all on the line. Yeah. And if I get dropped, if I get knocked out, I'm willing to risk my life because I know what I'm going up against in this fight. So I think those two things right there is exactly what you need to hear. But this is going to be a crazy one, man. Honestly, he hasn't had a fight like this in his entire career. So let's go, baby. It's almost time.
I think it's going to be fascinating to see ultimately how many people tune in here. I mean, Netflix has over 300 million subscribers. The fight, as long as you've got the Netflix subscription, is free. We know how many people watched Mike and Jake, record numbers. Does this get more than Canelo and Bud Crawford? I think there's a lot of really interesting questions. So we will see what happens. Again, it's less than a month away. Now, not Jake Paul, but Anthony Joshua, but part of the same event. We found out earlier today that two pretty big name fighters, two UFC legends, as a matter of fact, were added to this card because Lucas and Mojo, Tyron Woodley is going to be fighting Anderson Silva. Yeah, I mean, the two guys who were champion for a long time in the UFC. They are not going to be fighting mixed martial arts. They're going to be boxing each other on that same card. Now, obviously, Tyron Woodley is a friend of the show, has been for a really long time. We caught up with him. He's in the UK training, trying to prepare for this fight that is only 3 weeks and change away. And you can tell how much respect he has for Silva, but that don't mean he's not trying to hurt the guy.
The fight that I never thought would happen is somebody I looked up to. He was just a GOAT. He did it his own way. He didn't succumb to what the cloud chasers are doing. He just went out there and won fights. So anytime somebody asks me, like, the dream opponent, number one person is always Georges St. Pierre. And that boat is so far shipped along the road that I just would rather train with him than even just keep talking about fighting him because I know it's not going to happen. So when this opportunity came about, this is how a legend is made. You know what I mean? This is, people talk about legacy, but they play it safe all the time. And I'm not playing it safe. Anderson, love you, brother, but I'm about to not only step on the spider, I'm going to step and squish and twist on the spider.
Up next, Eagles wideout A.J. Brown is at it again. The three-time Pro Bowler's latest testy interview moment when TMZ Sports returns right after this. Welcome back to TMZ Sports, Babcock and Luca. Well, the Eagles, your Eagles, they've righted the ship.
Yeah. Definitely.
For the most part, right?
We're winning
They're
games. We're winning games.
You're winning games, but not everybody is happy, Luka.
No.
And I think that much is very clear.
Why would we be? 7-2, right?
Right. Apparently, that doesn't matter to A.J. Brown, star receiver for the Eagles. We know last week, and we talked about this on the show last week, that A.J. Brown had sent the message to his fantasy football owners. He said, hey, don't play me, guys. Remember, he was on that Madden stream. Don't play me, guys. Well, we've got another one of those situations. A little bit different circumstances this week, though. He was asked, Luka, on Thursday by some media whether or not he had lost a step.
What would you say to, there's been speculation out there that you are not the same player you once were. What would you say to those people?
I guess Saquon ain't the same player either. All right. But I don't got no player. I don't care. Y'all don't believe that.
I didn't say it.
Well, there's the little things in life that give you joy here. For me, my team sucks, but that's good stuff.
Oh, my God.
What do you think?
Man,
Go, Luke.
I cannot. I don't, I think I've said my piece enough on this show as is about how I feel about A.J. Brown. I will always start off by saying I love him. We won a Super Bowl because of him.
Yeah.
But, they had a meeting with the owner saying, I'm not going to get online and start saying a bunch of stuff about the team. All right, I guess he's just going to do it onto the media now. He didn't lie. He didn't lie. And it's like you're bringing Saquon into this too. Like obviously Saquon is having, historically a complete crazy downslope from how he had last year, 2,000
Anything
yards.
would be a downslope compared to last year.
And that's the thing. But it is significant. But the offense obviously is not the best. It's 25th ranked in the National Football League. Nobody in that room is happy with how it's going.
Yeah.
But to go out and then shade another player on your team that's arguably your second best player on the team, as well as bring down your quarterback, not support the franchise. It's just a bad look, I think. And for a guy who honestly is probably going to be in a lot of trade talks in this upcoming offseason, it doesn't bode well for him in that way.
It's hard to imagine him back on the team next year, isn't it?
I completely agree. I think the biggest thing is, we have our franchise quarterback. We have our franchise running back. He doesn't defend his franchise quarterback. He doesn't defend the coaches. I think it's just a bad look, and I think that relationship is slowly just, it's reaching that point of no return currently.
Yeah, that's what it feels like to me, too. And I think... And I think you hear people talk about him, and he's an incredible player, and he's an intelligent guy. But it makes him look a bit selfish, I think, too, like when Luka says, they're 8-2, you're leading the NFC East, and it seems like catching passes, the stat line is the most important thing right now to A.J. Brown. And,
and obviously it's going to be probably the worst season of his career if all things go the way they have been. But, also you might get another Super Bowl ring at the end of the year. So, pick your battles.
Is the late Hulk Hogan's son finally ready to get into the family business? Nick Hogan on a potential future in wrestling when TMZ Sports rolls on right after this.
Welcome back to TMZ Sports. Lucas Widman here. Nick Hogan raised some eyebrows earlier this week when he was spotted in a wrestling gym working out with NWA star Brian Idol. We actually ran into him at LAX this week and we asked him, hey, what was going on with that? And does this mean you could be getting yourself ready to follow in your legendary father's footsteps? Of course, Hulk Hogan passed away just a few months ago, and we spoke to Nick about a number of topics, but the number one being, are you getting into wrestling?
So a post you did, and you're in the ring with a legend, training, so people want to know, is there a wrestling career budding here?
You never know. You never know, man. It's in the blood, so you never know.
Is that something that you've always like?
I've always loved the business, and just obviously it makes me feel so much closer to Dad, being around the business and being kind of in that environment. So, I have a lot of love for it, and like I said, it's in the blood, so you never know.
Reached out, wanting you to get in the ring?
That's a good question.
I've always been in touch with everybody, and I always try to stay in touch with everybody, and I like to be close to those guys and close to the environment and the company, and like I said, it's a family.
Now, Nick Hogan said a lot there, Mojo, but do you want to know the word that I didn't hear? No. Obviously, Hulk Hogan is arguably the greatest wrestler of all time, the most popular. Everyone knew him. Do you think this would be a good idea for Nick to try and live up to those shoes to fill in just any capacity, Mojo?
If he wants to do it, he should absolutely do it. And I'm going to be honest, Lucas, I don't know for sure if wrestling fans are going to look at him and expect him as a 35-year-old man who would mostly be just starting out new at this stage in his life to surpass what his dad did or even come close to living up to what his dad did. And, I'll point out too, there's a lot of different ways to go about a wrestling career. So just because he's talking about maybe wanting to come into the business and do something. Of course, he's always been in the business somewhat, through his family. Doesn't necessarily mean he's going to WWE or even AEW. I mean, he could wrestle an independent show. He could go do something with Idol. There's tons of promotions all over the world that he could partake in. I mean, shoot, I'm out here in Japan. Japan is huge for pro wrestling, one of the biggest countries on the planet for pro wrestling. Who's to say he doesn't do something out here with New Japan? You never know what that means. And even to that extent, is he going to be a pro wrestler? Might he want to be a manager? Because I could see him being a really good heel manager if he wanted to be. There's a lot of personalities in wrestling. There's a lot of jobs that you can have in this business that don't require you to get out there in tights and bump around and body slam people. So just off of name value alone, if he really wants to do this, someone is going to take him. There's no doubt in my mind. On the smallest level, some of the bigger independent promotions will take him. I'm positive about that. But I, could also see one of the bigs as well giving him a shot to do something if he really wanted to come in and commit. And he's always had ties to the business. He probably feels maybe even a stronger tie than he ever has right now, based off of everything that went down with the Hulkster recently. So I don't know. I don't think it's a bad idea at all. I think if he wants to do it, he should absolutely do it.
And Mojo, that's a great point that you mentioned, that there are so many different ways that he could do this. It doesn't mean that he would be on the superstar roster at WWE and performing on Raw every Monday night. But a big takeaway that I got from that clip is the fact that he said, being around the wrestling community, that's my family. I grew up with them so much, and they have been so supportive of me after my father's death, that it just feels right to be around them in any capacity. And I think that's awesome for Nick to commemorate his father and his legacy in that way.
The Texans get a big win over the Bills on Thursday Night Football. They then also get the last laugh. Houston's amazing troll job is coming your way next on TMZ Sports. Welcome back to TMZ Sports. Babcock and Lucas. Woo! Last night, the Buffalo Bills, they got their asses kicked by the Houston Texans. Sorry. Did they get beat up. That Texans defense is ferocious, and they were on top of Josh Allen all night. They end up beating the Bills 23-19 on Thursday Night Football. Well, after the game, the Texans, they were not going to let a good opportunity to troll the Buffalo Bills pass without taking them up on it. Watch this.
Get some this. Gotta give me a little buffalo wing. For the city. No, I gotta go flat. Yeah, Buffalo. No. I got my Invisalign and I can't do it. Cheese! Some wings? I don't mind if I do. Let's get it! Victory wing.
A cow eating chicken. They should have went all flats. That's one issue I have with that. And put some sauce on those wings. Otherwise, though, awesome. I love it. I love them having fun at the Bills' expense after they beat them up pretty good.
And Babcock, there are levels to this because the caption of that video says, "We love a good buffalo wing," capitalize the L. But I'm told that in Western New York, that is not what they are called. They're called chicken wings, and I've been corrected I don't know how many times on this. So many people say buffalo wings, but that's another shot from the Texans.
Well, I think it's like, what do they call it in France when they say French fries? You know? It's like...
Do they have French fries in France?
I don't know.
Beats me.
Never been.
I got to travel more.
Yeah, Mojo, you travel.
Man, there's so many things I want to talk about here. First of all, Babcock, that's why we should go get wings together because I'm drumsticks only.
Oh, are you?
I don't want any part of the
that's
flats,
great, Mojo, because they charge more for just all flats, by the way.
That's criminal.
Yeah.
But, dude, this was so funny. It's, oh, man, you did it after you won. Like, you just really got to rub it in, you know? Like, they're not even rivals like that. No. They still have to do it anyways. The L in Buffalo was really good. But what you call them, I mean, if I'm from Buffalo, I'm only putting the Buffalo wing stamp of approval on wings from Buffalo that are the best of Buffalo. Right. You know, I'm not just willy-nilly throwing that out there. Plus, buffalo wings, to me, that's not even a type of chicken wing. It's just if you put buffalo sauce on it. Because now people like their wings different ways. For me, I only want dry rub wings. If they're wet, keep them away from me. That's a mess. I don't want to deal with that. You know, but I also, you got the garlic parm wings. Like, there's a lot of ways to chop up these wings. So Buffalo ain't it.
There you go. We love lemon pepper, Louisiana. I mean, there's a ton of great flavors. We get wings a lot here. We'll get them next week. It was funny. Look, the Patriots now they got a solid lead in this division, and if the Bills don't make a move here quick, they are not going to win the AFC East. I think last night was a game that they could have. It would have helped them to win that game. Obviously, they didn't. Why they didn't bring in a wide receiver, I don't know. It seems like roster malpractice. But the Bills have some problems. So we shall see. Great troll by the Texans. We've got to go. There's a bunch of stuff going down this weekend. We've got some UFC fights going on with some implications. Ton of college football. And, of course, big weekend in the NFL. Have fun, guys. We'll see you next week.
I'm a lawyer.